All right, Hemnetter, we are live.
All right.
Okay, Anke Ma'at Abed.
Ankema the
Give it just a couple of seconds for folks to get on, and then we will go ahead and begin with the opening of the way. All right, we can go ahead and get started with the opening of the way so that we stay on time with everything.
as we get into the pose of adoration. Again, as we begin with our left hand forward and our right hand slightly back, our left foot forward and our right foot slightly back. And we begin with the word of Ankh, which is life. Netrak and Bahat,
Netrak and Bedhead,
Nuke and Bahat,
Nuke and Bedhead,
Netrak Happy,
Netrak Happy,
Nuke Happy,
Nuke Happy,
Tuau and to
to winter.
turn to the right.
Netrak Circuit,
Netrak Circuit, Nuke Circuit, Netrak Kepsanu,
Netrak Caps,
Nuke Kepsanu, Tuau and to
to
turn to the right.
winter.
Netrak As, Nuke As, Netrak Amset, Nuke Amset, Tuau and to turn to the right. Netrak Neat, Nuke Neat, Tuau and to Netrak Tuamutef, Nuke Tuamutef, Tuau and to turn to the right. Netrak Newt, Nuke, Note, Tuau and to Netrak Shoot,
We forgot game.
Nuke, Shoot, Shoot,
Shoot.
Shoot, Nuke, Shoot. Tuau and to Netrak Teflon, 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 Nuke, Teflon. Tuau and to Netrak Pout into Nuke, Pout into Tuau and to Netrak and Boo into Nuke
and Boo enter.
Nuke and Boo into Tuau.
Winter. We forgot Geb, a Netra Geb, New
Oh,
Geb,
yeah,
to Geb. All right. All right.
sure. Oh, we forgot. We forgot, Gab.
It's all right. We pay homage to you, Geb. All right. All righty. All right. Welcome everyone who is here with us. And of course, after the opening of the way, we say Dua Baba Heru Ankra Samaj Sepata. Ma'ak Heru, opener of the way, bearer of Ma'at, and custodian of the Ankh. We continue the ritual which you have brought to us in its current form so that we may continue the legacy. Dua Nature, Dua Nature. While you light your candle, I've got mine lit here. Okay. All right, all righty. Hope everyone is feeling Nefer today. And as we continue with our schedule, of course, we're going to start with giving the flowers as usual. First and foremost, to our ancestors. We're going to say to Imbu Netaru, all of the Netaru, Himneta and Tepi, Dejed Ma'at Aten Ra, known as Jabari, for bringing us all together in the shrine of Ma'at. Himneta Wasiri and his queen, Sinet Terra, for allowing him the time and the space with us each and every Sunday. And of course, to all of you, Dua, 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 for showing up and being here with us every Sunday. Before we get into the meat, we always start with our 4 cleansing breaths. We do have quite a few things to discuss today after the reading. We have some announcements to make. I think that so many folks have been waiting for, and many of you have seen those posts in our group, which we will discuss during the announcements later on. So let's get started with our 4 breaths of life. All right, starting with the first one here. Take a deep breath to clear our mind. And the second, to clear our spirit. The third, to lighten our heart. And then the fourth and final, we breathe in Ma'at and exhale Ifset. I awake to live in Ma'at. I align my thoughts, words, and actions with Ma'at. May all that we do be in balance with the divine. Tuahu Nature. All right. So as you can see on the screen, today's reading is going to be coming from our beloved Spirituality Before Religions. We're starting at pages 2. 2 and 3 will be our reading today. Ashe?
Ashe. As we read, as we begin to read, we say, it says here, humans are the midpoint between these two worlds, and Adam is the body is to the human as the human is to the universe. The before life is to life as life is to the afterlife. You cannot separate what is intrinsically and extrinsically connected. Each of our lives is not only connected throughout time and space, but each of our lives is connected to all life. We live in an eternal existence that is neither created life nor destroyed death. Existence exists because existence has always existed, even before the beginning began. All forms of life are connected in the time-space continuum. In this continuum, time is eternal and space is everywhere. And when we perform libations, there is a thunderous call from the heavens. The Creator and the ancestors claim, one of us calls to us, let us respond through the call. In order to have a clear understanding of the truest meaning of ancient Kemetic wisdom, we must think like them within the context in which they live, physically, mentally, spiritually, and soulfully. To be able to make an accurate reckoning, we must use the correct method of interpreting the writings and evocations of our ancient Kemetic African ancestors. Geromancy's allegorical allegory compared their interpretation to a dance scene by a deaf person who cannot hear the music to which the dancing is timed and who has no knowledge of the character behind the character being performed in the soundless performance. You cannot comprehend what they are doing and saying as the performer, but you can watch the dance moving. In this sense, interpreting ancient Kemet without knowing what was thought and said by human beings in the ancient world in regards to how they viewed an owl or a bird or dog in terms of their natural power. The gods and goddesses of the mystical systems will have no relative meaning and purpose to us as the observers. However, we can get a view into their thought process by nurturing the functions of nature. It is said that when we act without the counsel of our elders and the evocation of our Creator and ancestors, we are acting alone. Before we be before we began spirituality, before religion, spirituality is unseen science. Science is seen spirituality. We sought and our received the advice of our elders. Now we evoke permission from our creators and ancestors to escort us back to the waters of noon, a time before time existed, existence before existence existed, an eternal place before the beginning began. This place is called the noon, the eternal waters, where our creator and ancestors were, are, and will always be. A place we all will return one day. All praise is due our creator of all, and our ancestors watch over all in this cosmic reality. Ashe.
Ashe, ashe, ashe. Beautifully, beautifully read. And Dua for the reading. So I was trying to take some notes as you were reading, and it says again where you started with the human, but where it says you cannot separate what is intrinsically and extrinsically connected. Each of our lives is not only connected throughout time and space, but each of our lives is connected to all life. I think that's something extremely powerful right there, because as we are all, you know, uh, becoming more spiritually grounded and elevating our consciousness to the highest form or to the heights of its ability, what we are truly doing is returning. We are returning to the waters of noon, just like it states here. Um, we're remembering. We're remembering thoughts and feelings and emotions and pieces of our existence that we've always been searching for. You see, a lot of us have that connection of something's missing. Growing up as Africans in the Western world, a lot of us came to this understanding because we knew something, not just something, but a lot was missing. Yet we found ourselves connected to so many things. And just like the text states here, you cannot separate what is intrinsically and extrinsically connected. Each of our lives is not only connected throughout time and space, but each of our lives is connected to all life. And if that is the case, we've been so disconnected that we've been chasing something, we've been looking for something, we've been seeking something. That feeling that's within, that continues to call us, that continues to pull us, is none but the ancestors calling you back home. Again, I know we've said this before, but the Hansel and Gretel, pebbles on the pathway. so that you may find your way home. That is exactly what we are all doing. Um, we're searching for our way home. And we're not just searching anymore, we're now remembering the steps to get there. We have something else that was extremely critical that I saw that came up when you were reading this is the respect and honor given to the elders. And that portion, let me get to that part here. Spirituality. We sought and received the advice of our elders. Now, here's one thing, and I think many of us speak on this, and I've heard even Intepi talk about this in times. We cannot be so spiritual that we close our ears to elders, no matter what their spirituality or faith bases are. We have grandmothers. Those of you that still have your grandmothers alive, do our netra for the elders. I was blessed to have both my grandmothers, both grandmothers, both grandfathers for all of my life until my young adult years. I experienced life with great grandmothers on both sides. Never met my great grandfathers. And although some of their ways may have been different, they were they held a knowledge and a wisdom that is uncomparable. And when the elders spoke, you listened. I'm sure many of us have old sayings that came from our elders, and so just in this era where wisdom and understanding is coming to be so frequent, always sit at the feet of the elders. Don't debate them because they are wise and their years have been long. Their experiences have been well longer than ours. You know what I mean? So I appreciate them stating that we sought to receive the advice from our elders. It doesn't matter what religion or any of that you are claiming, but when an elder speaks, you listen. And Himnetta, what do you have to say in reference to today's reading?
Very powerful. From the fact when you look at the place when it said a place we all where a place we will all will return one day. It's praise, all is praise due to our Creator and to all our ancestors who have to all our ancestors who watch over all in this cosmic reality. So we it's so important to understand that we as the universe exists is because of us being here. And the fact that we understand that existence exists because of what we do, and the fact that the ancestors are the ones that give us the fact of the backing to understand what we are doing each and every day.
That's right. That's right.
It's so
They
important.
certainly do. And they are watching over us, which also is the
So
drive.
like we
They're,
understand,
oh, go ahead, please.
you will see. So, and Adam is to the body, is to the human as the human is to the universe. It's so important to understand that being a human is so important that we make up the universe and make up the world. And the fact that understand this world that is existing, and even though what is going on in the world is feel like we are not in control, but we are in control. Our ancestors are in control, and the existence of people are in control. That's so important to understand that we control and rule the world. It's so important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And before we return to the noon, it's also important that even what you said there, the ancestors, we too will become ancestors one day.
That's right.
And we have a choice as to how we will be remembered, how will we be venerated. You know what I mean? So what we do today, what we do now on this cosmic plane is what's important for that. You know, many religions are doing what they can now so that they can have abundant life in the afterlife and get to heaven. Yeah, the goal is that peace after we've had this experience. But it's more peaceful to me to do what's best now, not just to get to a better destination, but to embrace the destination that we've been given here, to embrace the experience that we've been given on the cosmic plane, so that it won't be so hard for the future generations to find their way home. They will know their way home. The connection won't be something that they try to make. They don't have to remember how to make it. As far as us, we're still remaking the connections because we're all connected, just like the text says. We're all family. It's like going to a family reunion and meeting your cousins and aunts and uncles that are of you, but you've never met them. You know, and hopefully thousands of years from now, it won't be that way. They will know. The connection won't have to be made. The legacy just needs to be lived, because what we're doing now is preparing the way. We're basically opening the way for them, just as our ancestors did it for us. Each era is a different stage, of that. And eventually we will all return. But the way to get there does not have to be as difficult as it has been for the Black man or Black woman. And what we're doing now, the work that we are all collectively doing now in our own individual lives, as a shrine, as practitioners, as human beings, is we're making this gap a lot easier for the future. So it's very, very important that we read these texts and that we understand what those elders and the writers are telling us. It's not even about belief in a book. It's factual. We are remembering, we are returning, and we are all connected, which is why, we all exist together at one time. We all coexist together at one time. Right now, right here. This is the moment that we have. This is what we know for sure is guaranteed. This moment that we are here. And due to that, we have the ability to make a decision, to make sure to pay that honor and respect to the ancestors and the elders that we do have living. You know what I mean? It's important that we do those activities now instead of wishing we had. Think about great grandchildren that you will never meet. Imagine how much difficult, how hard it was for us. Without us doing this work, how much harder. Because I think there was a text that we had read either in this book previously or the one from last week where it was stating that it was getting farther away. The memory, it was getting further away from it because it's getting so watered down and diluted with everything else that's going on in the world. You mentioned that a moment ago. You think that, everything's bad. We see what's going on in the world, but you're right. We are in control. During this experience, we certainly have the ability to turn the other way. Even if you've gone down the right path, if that path is brutal and it wasn't meant for you, you still have a choice that you can go now to the left side of that path and walk down that way and see what's there and explore. I think that's a beautiful, 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 beautiful point here. And I really, 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 as you know, love the fact to say that it says, and I'll say it again, we sought and received the advice of our elders. As the holidays are approaching, we've got Thanksgiving, we've got Christmas. Don't be so righteous with these dates and these times and these titles. Sit with your family. Doesn't matter it doesn't matter that it's called Thanksgiving or that it's called Christmas. You know your truth, but the truth of the matter is while you're busy debating and separating yourself from family, you're causing just that much more of a wedge. Sit with your family members. If you have elders that are still living, you are blessed. Sit with that. Don't debate them. It's a bigger knowing. One of our texts, I want to say, is the Hosea talks about when you're sitting with elders, it doesn't matter who's right or wrong. You let them be, and you respect their wisdom and their knowledge. So I actually look forward to the holidays coming up because we're losing our elders. Our elders, I mean, their time is coming. We're on deck to be elders, so to speak. I look forward to Thanksgiving and Christmas and these days, not to celebrate the date, but to celebrate family, to touch and hug an elder and feel that. That might be the last time. And I refuse to spend it saying that this is the wrong holiday and it's this. I don't care about that. What I care about is that moment, that time. Gaining one old story. Ask them to tell you a story about something that happened when they were younger. Get that wisdom. Because truthfully, in those stories, we're going to find African spirituality. We're going to find Kemetic practice, whether they know it or not. We all know that that's the truth. I just urge all of you during the holidays that are coming up, not necessarily holy days, but holidays. Enjoy time with your family. Touch them, hug them. That's what, to me, is the most important portion of it. I keep saying it over and over again. We sought and received the advice of our elders. Now we evoke permission from our Creator and ancestors to escort us back to the waters of noon, a time before time existed, existence before existence, an eternal place before the beginning began. This place is called the noon, the eternal waters, where our Creator and ancestors were and always will be, a place we will all return to one day. All praise is due to our Creator and all, and our ancestors who watch over us all in this cosmic reality. Keep that in mind when you're among elders, when you're among those who have lived long. We wouldn't be if it wasn't for them.
No doubt.
Yeah, if you even look, sometimes I used to look before I even knew what consciousness was or any of this. I would look at the face of my grandmother. She was wise and she was a trip. She didn't drink, she didn't smoke, but she could party. She didn't do any of that stuff. But she partied like nobody's business, and that woman was wise, and I didn't care. If you were around her cussing, you could be older than her. She would put a bar of soap in your mouth. Seriously. She'd warn you a few times. Keep that cussing. I'm going to put some soap in you. And I never forget she did that to a 70-year-old man. Old man, old as she was, but he kept running his mouth and kept cussing after she warned him 3 times. She disappeared and came back and shoved that bar of soap right in his mouth. But I could look in her face and I could see ancestors unknown from way back. I didn't know what I was looking at, but I could see it in her. I could just see the past. That just take some time and look into the eyes of one of your elders if you get that opportunity, and enjoy that. I'm excited for the upcoming holidays. Definitely excited.
And like you said, it's so important that we utilize that time to get together.
That's right.
Oh, hold on. This is Amos.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's pretty much my take on that. I just muted him so he could speak with Amos, and maybe Amos wants to join us. If so, I can certainly send the link to
email it to me. All right. Okay.
I heard him. I'm doing it right now.
Okay, thank you.
Doing it right now.
Let's see how he's doing.
Yes. Where is it? Stone. It's Adrian Stone. How come it's not coming up? on one sec. Oh, I just saw him text me too. I didn't even notice.
Yeah, he texts you.
There we go. Oh, no wonder. And I know his email by heart too, and it just couldn't. There we go. All right, sent it so he could come on in.
Okay.
Very good. While we wait for him, Netta Ames, I won't go into the announcements. I'd like to have him here with us before we share any of that. I will say we didn't have any Nechai, which is prayer request this week, but we did have a birthday. And that birthday, Shak Het Hrw, Shakana. Happy solar return to you, Sinette, out there. I saw lots of folks giving you love. So if you are watching today, we want to let you know that we saw you as well. And it was, hope you had a very Nefer birthday. And we wish you many, many, many more trips around the sun. Okay.
So happy solar return.
I'm just going to go and take a look to see. She is here. I saw she had made a comment. Oh, no, that was from yesterday. But let's see if we have any comments here. All right, we do have our son Curtis Jackson. Anke Ma'at to you. Kazi Shep, Sinette Oye, Anke Ma'at to you. We got our son Jason Holmes, Anke Ma'at to you. All right. All right. See, I'm going to get this queued up to see as we wait for him, Netta Amos, to come in. See if I can figure out what I'm doing here. All right. And we can share it more than once. Just want to, we'll go ahead and share that because we do want to get an update, adoration update once Amos comes in to see how he is doing. So let's see. Yep, he's coming in. So we'll share it after. We'll share the video after. There we are.
Okay, Ma'at.
Anke Ma'at, Netter. How are you?
I am. Well, let me go over here. I think it's acting up a little bit. Hold on. So I can get the screen up so I can see y'all clearly. What's going on? I'm trying to.
He'll get back on here. Trying to see how I'll figure this out in a moment. All right, let's see.
Okay, I'm back. I don't know why the screen is so short. And now
Metaphysics.
I'm having little problems this morning with my tablet. Join the chat, yes. Okay, what happened to y'all guys now?
We're
Ah,
here. We see you.
I know, but I just lost seeing. Oh, there you go. Okay. Ooh.
Much more to you.
So
How
as
are
you
you?
can see, I hope you can see. I don't know. Um, my face um, is still in the healing process, but uh, it turns out the doc not only is he a one of the top ENT surgeons in the nation, he also turned out to be he got certified as a plastic surgeon. So that's why my face is back together as good as you see it. If you was to see me, you have to really walk up on me to see what did he open you up at? You really can't tell.
Right.
So in that
Ooh,
terms, I've been blessed again.
Definitely.
Now the rest,
You look good.
yes, you
yeah.
do. Yes, you do.
So the rest of the healing now is that I was informed this week that I would have to do the chemo. They are including it in the treatment. Um, it's two bouts, but they decided to, because the way people were not adjusting to it, to break it down into smaller dosage once a week along with the radiation therapy. So we'll see how that go, but that won't begin until next month. I should be fully healed by next month, by the end of this month or next month. But
Okay.
other than that, I'm in good spirits. Everything. Dua for all the prayers from everyone. In the prayer group and everything. I'm doing well.
We'll continue to pray for you.
Yay!
Absolutely.
I'll take
Absolutely.
it. I'll take it.
That's that's so important.
hmm
You look good.
What are we talking about today? Or have we decided? Have y'all already joined? I know I'm coming in a little late, but
So, right. So, we've done our reading today. We did read from spirituality and religion, him that are read from there. And we read the first two pages. In fact, if you would, that way you could give us some input. I'll read the pages that he read again. He started with, let's see, there we go. He says, humans are the mind or the midpoint between these two worlds. And Adam is the body, is to the human as the human is to the universe. The before life is to life as life is to the afterlife. You cannot separate what is intrinsically and extrinsically connected. Each of our lives is not only connected throughout time and space, but each of our lives is connected to all life. We live in an eternal existence that is neither created life nor destroyed by death. Existence exists because existence has always existed, even
mm,
before the beginning began. All forms of life are connected in the time space continuum. In this continuum, time is eternal and space is everywhere. And when we perform libation, there is a thunderous call from the heavens. The Creator and the ancestors claim one of us calls to us. Let us respond through the caller. In order for us to have a clear understanding of the truest meaning of ancient Kemetic wisdom, we must think like them within the context in which they lived, physically, mentally, spiritually, and soulfully. To be able to make an accurate reckoning, we must use the correct method of interpreting the writings and invocations of our ancient Kemetic African ancestors. Gerald Macy's allegory compares this interpretation to a dance seen by a deaf person who cannot hear the music to which the dancing is timed and who has no knowledge of the character being performed in the soundless performance. You cannot comprehend what they are doing and saying as the performer, but you can watch the dance movement. In this sense, interpreting ancient Kemet without knowing what was thought and said by human beings in their ancient world and how they viewed an owl. or bird, or dog in terms of their natural powers. The Neteru and Neteretu are their mystical systems, their mystical systems have no relative meaning and purpose to us as the observer. However, we can give a view into their thought process by nurturing the functions of nature. It is
Okay, this.
act without the counsel of our elders and the education of our creator and ancestors. We're acting alone. Before we begin writing spirituality before religions, spirituality is unseen science, and science is seen spirituality. We sought and received the advice of our elders. Now we evoke permission from our creator and ancestors to escort us back to the waters of noon, the time before time existed, existence before the existence existed, an eternal place before the beginning began. This place is called the noon, the eternal waters, where our creator and ancestors are, and always will be, a place we will all return to one day. All praise is due to our creator and all of our ancestors who watch over us, all in this cosmic reality.
Hmm. Okay, here we go. As you have entered into the Kemetic spirituality of Nubia and Kemet and all of what we call Akabula and of the Nile River, you see of the mysteries. Now, everyone in as you read on the land and everything of Kemet, everyone had a basic overstanding of their spirit of the spiritual concept that was going on in the land in a basic thing. And we fall it and before we chose to walk down this path, we were like them. It's ironic that you're reading that scripture there, because what it's letting you know as initiates that you have to you're preparing to go to the others, the most higher, the next level. And you have to acquire the things to help you guide you on this path. Now that you have chosen the Kemetic spirituality of our ancestors that traveled down the Nile from interior Africa and all that, you have to acquire the tools to deal with the other half. We look at when you become an initiate, you're understanding that you're going to overstand things a little bit different than basic. As it was said, understanding existence, existing beginning before existing. It was the divine, the all was present. It never ceased. It just didn't vibrate. And it talks, and I have to get this, I have to research this again, but in one of our ancient scriptures, it said that right now the creator is being active. So it moves out. It's like a ripple. If you hit a stone in the water and watch the ripple effects, this is what's going to happen. And then it's going to cease to exist, meaning that it's going to go back into itself again. It's going to go out so far, and then it's going to cease to exist. Now, I should say existing, because that's what it's doing now. So it'll go back into existence, and it's not here or there. That's why they talk about the different duats and different realms. One of our great teachers, Ra Nefer, talks about it as being the subject realm, where everything that is in there, we have that same ability. That's why they say ye are gods, because we have a subject realm in your brain. You might have a concept for a new, like this right here is a hydro bottle, my new water. It was a concept. It was in somebody's subject realm. And now it has come out into the object world. It comes into existence. It always existence, but it came here. And now we can hold it, feel it, touch it on this realm of reality. So the scripture, which is ironic that and that was already it brought forth to us this morning, is a constant reminder that now, um, not only know understanding the 42 laws of my heart, understanding Ra and all that, you are now required as initiates to do the next concepts to help you on your learning level. One of the best books I will put forth to you to go get this. I went through 3 of them. Do you hear me? I went through 3 of them because it's so deep. I have mine. I was able to get this thing. So let me take it out of its booking. And this is what it's called. The Medunetter Volume 1.
I have one of those. I think I
Yeah,
have 2. Let me grab.
yeah, okay. Rotten Nefer Volume 1.
I
Okay.
have volume 2,
Okay. Your
but I
volume
need
2 is good, but
I need to get
I
1
have
though.
volume 2. There are a million volumes. I mean, he has about 3 or 4 volumes of this. And okay, so the first thing I did, and here it is that you was reading from, is how the existing came to exist. I took this from another book I was reading, and it's showing you the teachings of how the creator, uh, what Ra spoke, or the Nebuchadnezzar spoke to come to things into existence. So I put that right there. I took it. You're gonna add to this book. As I did as I went along. I have things like Job 38. I understood that it was dealing with the zodiac. John 14. Uh, uh, 2. In my father's house, there are many dwellings. I think last Sunday, him that in Tempe was showing you the work of which one was it? Bringing himself before Asar. If you see with us in that panel, in all of them, where Asar is sitting on the throne, and behind him is Nebuchadnezzar and Aset, the 4 sons of Hrw. Up above there, that is a house of where they get John 14, verse 2. How do I know this? Because this was in Kemet 101, and I went with the Honorable Baba Hrw. This is why I have these things. So you'll understand the periodic tables. It's very important that you understand the periodic tables. Understanding alphanumeric. How did we get to the things that we call numbers today? The Vesical Pisces. Understanding where. Put this a little bit closer. It's over there. No, it's over here. As you can see, the Vesical Pisces. And it goes into showing you how they got the numbers and how things are manifested. You understand how religions took this, your understanding about the square roots of things. This is what this is talking about in the scripture that you read this morning. It is teaching, it's letting you know as initiates, this is your next phase. It will not always be found in the Pertin Rule. The Pertin Rule is great. It is taking the philosophy teachings and listening to them and understanding the divine. And some of our other grandmaster teachers have done this, but this is if I recommend anything, please get the Medu Netter. Medu means words of the creator. That's what they miscall the hieroglyphics. You will go through this book because in this book, it tells you, we understand the astrological signs, why you are certain things. Now, if you know me, Mine's was a mess. My full Kemetic name is a Mesu Kuti Ma'at Amen Ra. When you pick your name, now you have to understand that divine principles is positives and negatives. What is Harukuku? Harukuti is the principle. Haru did not win his battles until he took on the element of Harukuti. The element principle of Harukuti is the principle in which you safeguard your existence as others against wrongness. It is a battle cry.
I gotta say something. I did not want to interrupt you, but this is okay. I always got chilled. You hear what you're talking about, right?
Hold on 1 second. You know who's chiming in real quick.
Oh
I'm
my
in
goodness.
session, Mom, and I'll call you back. Okay.
I just have to show you this. You are speaking on this. I want to show you in this book where my bookmark is.
Yeah.
This is not a joke. Can you see that?
Yes. I have volume 2. I got to pull mine up. But what
Look,
page is it?
this is it's the bookmark is
Mm-hmm.
literally on where it says Spear 5 Herukuti.
Mm-hmm.
I just opened it up to see where the bookmark was, and it literally is on that page. That is
Okay.
crazy.
So
Wow.
what I tell everyone that you this is the volume 1 is very intense. It's really very intense. You're going to have to read it more than once. Get your highlight pen. I have many highlights in this. And so this became um, my book, everyday book of scripture reading. Once I came into Kemetic systems and understood, once I was initiated in the Shrine of Ptah, it became my daily book. And so, and it goes into the different stages of meditation. He covers all these things: government, religion, uh, the faculties of man's spirituality. Um, as we were saying, Harukuti. What does it mean to have to be Harukuti and Ma'at? Or Ma'at Harukuti or set? It's all broken down here for you. And so basically, what Himneta was Renzori picked out is something that all of y'all that have been initiated in this, and this is the road that you're walking down. This is the path that you decided to go down. You do better. We would be no better than um, Christians walking around with a Bible, or the Islamic faith walking around with the Quran, or the Jewish people walking around with the Torah. That's just your basic scriptures. There's a focus point. Now you need to have something that, as we say, we always do ma'at here, duality. Now what you read in there, now you seek out teachings of ancestors, good teachers that have put forth. Now, basically, most of us know about Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, Ivan Van Sertimer. These things submit the books in your library will submit the cultural, the like who we are as we manifested in the continent of Akabulan. Now you will seek out teachers. Now I don't have too many, but Dr. Ashby, because I was bringing this out, it's another one. Ma'ati Ashby, he's down in Florida, and this is an old book. If you ever, I hope you can see the title, Ancient. You can look this up. It is as our Hassan book. This book is good to have. I don't know if it's still in print. Okay. But you carry around as this to help you along in whatever field and endeavors you're doing, because you need something to solidify. If you are a policeman, what are the attributes and principles if you decide to be a policeman? To walk that path of, so of protection. It's really protection. And really, most people, and I guess Himnetta Rosori can speak on this more. The school that they go to is not police officer training. It's called peace officer training. It is, of course, because they have been hired to help maintain the peace. Hotel. Most policemen don't understand this, and most of you are taking on the principle of hotel. You might say, I might also be bringing in the principle of hotep in my eyes, or to bring someone to justice. So in volume 1, you will learn that if you are a teacher, some of the principles that are needed, that you need to cultivate to be successful in the career, not the job, but the career that you have chosen to do along this path. And some people do it, and it is a basic, but they didn't know this. You just have some good teachers. They just come in and and all the children, this is it. Dwa R Hrw was a peace officer first for a long time, and they didn't understand him, and so they tried to throw him off his path. A dead body would happen, and it has to be watched over until the mortician and the crime scene, and they sent him down there with that stuff. And to be around death for that long, you need to balance it out. That's when he started twiddling on with wax and stuff, and came up with the concept of the jury, because it helped his mind deal with, he was put in a state of constant duat, the death. He carried an ankh. He said, you give me a gun to kill, and now I carry this ankh of life. He understood both principles. So he always was walking in. That's why he carried the ankh. So these are the things. So the reading was very intense, but basically what was being brought forth to our community, to all our initiates or who are on. I don't know how many are on. How many are on today,
I'm looking to see right now. We have some that are on YouTube and some that are here in on Facebook Live.
Okay.
We have about 10 folks on right now.
Okay. So all those that are tuned in on YouTube and online now, when you hear what was picked out to you, and like you said, he's never a concept that you're preordained. Basically, what was being presented to our community, especially us who are out of the Shrine of Ma'at, that as initiates, it's good to know the opening of the way. It's good to know that we have scriptures in the Purdan room. It's great that we know some of but this is the work. And you say, how do I take on the work? Nobody tells you that. A lot of us don't. It's not explained to you how to take on the work. And if you're in a committee or something like that, you have to grab the tools and look for the tools to put in your personal library to be a scribe. You are also scribes.
That's right.
Now, in the Temple of Anu, they have a program for that. They already have something up. That's our sister shrine. what I always say, we are not, you don't limit yourself to, we are here. There were 42 gnomes up and down the Nile. Each one had its own concept. Each one had its own idea of Neter. They understood. Now remember, the Asar Aset Haru principle came down later in their spiritual awakening. But Haru principle was there, always there. It goes back a lot further. Haru goes back a lot further than Asar, Aset, and Haru. You are scribes. You go into the sacred writings. So, on YouTube, what was his name? Well, you have Dr. Phil Valentine. Phil Valentine, not the one. You got Phil Valentine. And it's hard. I mean, because he goes through a lot. But one thing he would do in the bunch of some of his lectures is books that he had read. And so they might be out of print, but try to get these books to put into your library because you are scholars now. Initiates does not mean, oh, I'm here. You are scribes and scholars now. You go down the path. And I guarantee you, you'll pick the right ones. Like, here's one. Now, now, this is one of our, I would call him a teacher. And his group we have seen and known about. What are they here in New York? Dr. York. These are all the books that I didn't get all his books, but when I would go, they opened up a store up here in Westchester, and I would go in there and I let the divine spirit guide me to the certain aspects as a scribe, as an initiate, that teachings and writings to go over and look. From the Anunnaki that they like to talk about, to the Torah. This was a great one that I got. God. Which one you represents, because in scripture is you got it all capital letters. You might have it in the one capital lowercase and all. You'll find that throughout the Torah, the Bible, and stuff. What does it mean when they do that? And it gives you some ideas to look at. The Wabians, mythology is another thing, because we're dealing with this. What is God's language? These are some of the ones that I got. And so you build your library as a scribe and scholar to go back. So when you want, and you add to it, you know, Dr. Ashby has many books. And so one of them is I just shared with you. This is what everything that was spoken in the reading this morning was to let you know that you're going into what we call the science and what you I just had it, it's just slipping my mind, excuse me. It's when you understand science and spirituality and you understand how to put the two together. You remember in the scripture was saying the atom, right? What is atom in the Kemetic form? What is the name of atom in the Kemetic language? What principle is atom? Does anybody know?
I'm looking to see if anyone answers. Give them a moment before you say the principle of atom. Is that Atum?
Atum. Yes, it is. Atum is the principal atom. It is the circle with the dot in the middle, which later became known as Ra.
Ra. Okay. Okay.
Do you understand what we're doing? When you become an initiate, you not only understand the spirituality signs, which spirituality is what? Unseen science, and science is just seen spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
You'll learn how our ancestors understood this and they put them together. If you understand, they put it in all aspects. When you see a saw in green, we know that he's talking about the when Asar is looked in the principle of farming, agriculture.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When we look at the palettes of things chiseled in stone, you'll learn to look at it a lot different than what your first eye see. Because what he was saying in one of the things, he says, you have a blind person, somebody who, and I think I brought this up before, that when you become an initiate, I was talking about Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder sees better
Mm-hmm.
than most of us that have been blessed with the gift what we call sight. And all you have to look is and the only one you have to get if you get no other album is the songs in the key of life, and that says it and it lets you know, okay, he does not see, but he does see.
Mm-hmm.
As an initiate, you'll learn to see with your ears. Okay? And just like a blind person, a person who's deaf who cannot hear, he hears with their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
The duality aspect of how you're going to walk down this path. And as initiates, that is part of your training and things that you do. If you looked and in Buddhism, which most people can't think it came out of India. No, it came out of our other African continent of the place they called in Kush in is India, Indo Kush. And you'll learn about the Kushites if you read the hold on. This is one of our first women grandmaster teachers. There you go, the wonderful Kushite Empire by Drusilla Dundee Houston. She wrote this book in 1926.
Wow.
We'll soon be coming up on 100 years of this book being produced. So if you want to know more about what we did as we moved out of the continent of Akabulan, this is one of the best books. And she's not a scholar. She was just a woman that went to the library. You'll see Drusilla Dundee Houston, and she talk about the different aspects of the Kush Empire. Because even when we're speaking of Kemet, we are speaking of the Kush Empire. Remember, Kemet was formed by a colony that merged on outside of Kush, and as they progressed on out in the different phases, they kept a lot of the customs, but they developed their own because they were moving into that region. And believe it or not, Set was main one that was produced first. Why Set? It was desert, it was high, it was dry, it was heat. There's the metaphor there. There's the scientific there. This is how you do as initiates. So, as initiates, what was being presented to you this morning is that you are beginning it is divine nature. The Nebuchadnezzar is reminding us that who are already in it, like myself and Himnetta Winzori and all the sins. It's in that that now that you're on this path, now you have to start acquiring the work to understand what you're as you go through your process. When you do this, it will decide to you what you might want to do. Like a lot of people, I always thought that the first process, oh, after I get initiated, is to become a priest or a priestess. No, that might not be it. You might be put forth to do the imhotep aspect of this and take it to the next level. You might be a scribe. One of my sisters, her name is, you all know her, is she's a scribe out of Bar or Set, Bar and Set. She writes her name now. That's how she writes her name. She uses the Meduneta. She does not use the scripts. You understand? You understand? If you got to go into become a soldier, you have to understand these principles. Whenever career, not Job, whatever career path you have decided or is being presented to you to do your work here on this planet that can make you, as I said, this book here and two breaks down the principles a little bit more, but this one is going to be your first study. And I'm going to tell you, do not think you're going to get through the hymn. Just read it and just get through it and just put it to the side. This is not one of those types of books. This book, you're going to go through it and it's going to confuse you. It's going to get your mind. You're going to mark it up. And next thing you know, it's falling apart and you're going to have to buy. So I suggest you buy two or three of them right up the bat. And you go through them. This is your daily. This is one of the tools that you'll use to help you along the way. And don't be scared to mark it up. I mark mine up. And when I understood certain things, I have the principle of the signs here of the sun and what this going on in the Dwa, boom, the upper nature, here's the path. You'll learn how to put what we call our signs and principles. You understand that a lot better. You understand? So your book will become like this. You'll have little lesson things here. I can deal with the sonic order when they talking about certain things, and I'll be like, well, I understand that already. I did my research. And you find out that I found out was this. When you want to be the kind of person is, when we bring forth what we talking about, Kemet and our spirituality and everything, it's not to convince you to be one of us or take on our spirituality. That's not what we're here to do. We bring forth our spirituality to share that we can understand yours, because as a true initiate, you will have the Torah, you will have the Bible, you will have the Quran, you have the teachings of Buddha. I even have the books of the Mormons, because I seen them walking in my neighborhood with the little white shirts on and tie. Well, you can't approach them if you haven't opened up their book.
Mm-hmm.
So when they come to you and talking all that, you can say, I read your book and I understand it. Now, most likely you will not find that they have read your book, especially if you talk to Jehovah's Witnesses. They want to teach you theirs, and we like, but teach us about ours. If you understand that all these different forms of Christianity, and look at the founding fathers of their spirituality, they're all Tamahus. Every single one of them are Tamahus, born in anywhere from 200 years ago until the present, mainly. The only thing that goes older is, like I said, Christianity. Look on, watch the History Channel. Watch the channel on the Roman Empire. Its concept. Remember, they were barbarics and they took over from the Greeks. We like to go with the Greeks. You know, watch these things. On Pluto, they do the mysteries the the Greek mythology. Read it. You will, because if you're in tune, you can see some of the concepts. You can understand how they know the thinking too, because you'll see, like Zeus. Zeus was a hoe. Zeus was a hoe. He just put out his whatever desire. He impregnated and all that stuff. He just produced. Most of his things were done out of desire. Now you understand this culture that we follow our language and our Western and say we built off in the Romans. They were aggressive. They had that. They were always on the takeover. Some of the principles they took on all the principles as what we say of set, conquer and divide by power, and this, all these other things, that they became so vast that they ended up collapsing in on themselves. And you will see that this happens in all great societies. So that is my take on the reading today. I hope it has been informative to you about, as initiates, you grab the things, the tools, and start working on the metaphysics. That's what we call this. Took me a minute. It's called the metaphysics in English term. This is what your next phase of your training is. So if you want to know what your next phase of it is metaphysics. Some of you might do it lightly. Some people might do it like me and Himneta Winzori, Shashat. We went on into it, you know, and we in the metaphysics, we went in down the spiritual path. But I also, my other side of the spiritual path is the metaphysics, because I want to understand the balance between the set world, the existing world, and the existing, how things are being manifest. And I talk differently when I think of things now, because when I speak on certain terms, I can quickly go back and understand it in the comedic form of view. And I'm saying, this is as comedic. This is how I'm seeing this. I'm not saying that I'm right. This is how it's being revealed to me. Also, different things will be revealed to you on different levels. My revealing is no greater than yours. I don't care if I'm a Himneta or Intepi or whatever you want to. Mine is no greater than what's going to be revealed to you is going to be revealed to you, because Carter Woodson, the father of history, said there's two forms of teaching that a man or a person receives in this world. One, that someone teaches you, like me, what you are having right now, me and that your Himnetas and Intepis, your other, and the second one is the one that you teach yourself. By far, the second is the greatest. The second is the greatest. If I can stress anything as being a Himneta, you'll get teachings and you'll hear things from people like mine that have studied, and but the grand one is when the divine in you will pick out certain things and let you interpret it out and seek your way of getting to that overstanding of what is being revealed to you. Okay? Don't let yes. But you, the inner, the nature, the inner in you will guide you. As you say, I want to overstand this, take it more in depth, will guide you down. That's how my library was built. That's how my library, all in here, I have books. And the divine will put you on the right path of getting those books and getting the teachings that you understand, that helps you understand. And I'm old school learning. I was never like this. I have to see it, feel it, touch it. When I learn, I had to have all of it. I had to see it, do it for myself, read. I took it all in. I needed all those. Some people can hear something and say, I got it. Some people can look at something that I needed to do all three. You understand? Overstand? So that's what I got from there. I hope it's been informative to you. And like I said, there are 3 volumes. 2 is a good one, but once you go past 2, 3 is but I have it, but it's good to have it in your library. But 1 is the first one that I would suggest from this reading would help you understand what was read today and put you on that path. That's one of my suggestions.
I do want to just kind of respond to some of the things that you said, which, you know, I I think everything happens in divine order anyway. But since I've gotten on this path, that has been my number one force. That is how I found the Shrine of Ma'at. This was I guess you can say, self-taught journey. I have, I won't carry my laptop over there, but when I tell you, I have journals upon journals. I need the book, the physical book, just like you said.
Mm-hmm.
I journal. I mark inside the books. I study the meta netter. I actually have been writing, taking classes with other shrines for the last few years in the meta netter. And again, those arsenal tools that you state, even the Bible, the Quran, the Torah. I won't go and grab all of them, but I definitely have every single one, including many other Kemetic texts that I study by. No one necessarily led me to them. It's just like you said, once you initiate, you need to have that self-drive. Yes, you get the influence from other teachers and things of that nature, and inspiration and guidance from others who have studied long before you, but you must be diligent on your own path and making sure that you, like you said, understand what's going on. Many folks after initiation are looking, like you clearly mentioned, for what's next. People are looking to be handheld into the next chapter, but doing the work. Even though we are a collective, not just in the Shrine of Ma'at, but we are a collective that is reviving and living this legacy. It is our obligations as practitioners to seek out the knowledge and to understand and overstand, just like you mentioned. So I really, really, really appreciate you mentioning all of that. I've been studying, I want to say self-studying, at least for past 10 years. And I go back into my journals, just one. I'm just only going to show one, but I go back into my journals. And the understanding is completely different. Because in the beginning, you're reading and you're taking notes and just things that I was learning on my own. This was probably my first journal of taking notes. This is over 10 years old. It talks about so many different things. And now when I go back and read this information, the first thing I said is the word that's in here, it says nuke. Well, of course, now, of course we know nuke, I am, different terms that we use. It even has pictures of things that you were talking about as far as metaphysics. I didn't know I was studying metaphysics at the time. I had no idea what I was doing. But it was information that was calling me. Symbols. I would write down a symbol that I saw and research that symbol, starting with the Ankh. I didn't know what an Ankh was. But I knew that this symbol resonated with me. So I've got a whole journal just about an Ankh. I didn't know I was going to become a Kemetic practitioner. I had no idea, but it was the ancestors calling me. Something was pulling, and it was an obligation for me to answer, in other words. And it here it is 10 years later. And, of course, I'm not wise in all the ways of, but the understanding that, like you said, it is not just in the Reyu Pertim Hrw. It is not just in the it is multiple collective texts, not even just like you said, not even just the Kemetic texts, but the other texts. And then we find the origins pulled from our cultures in the Bible and the Quran and all the different. It's not even about who did it first, but it's a tool to be able to meet people where they are. And like you said, it's not necessarily to get people to convert and say what I say is right. Come and be a Kemetic practitioner. But we can have a conversation that both of us understand. You probably won't understand my culture because I'm sure you haven't researched, just like you said. When the Mormons and the Jehovah's Witnesses knock at the door, nobody's read Kemetic text, but we've read your text. You know, we've read your text, and it's not to even, the purpose isn't even to debunk. It's to be able to communicate with you right where you're at.
Yeah.
You know
and
what I
they're
mean?
trying to trick you. They're trying to trick you, saying, you searching for something. You searching for, no, I found, I just want, but
I'm communicating with you.
Knowledge.
Yes.
I'm just
And
still,
the knowledge exactly is important because it's a universal knowledge. It's a universe, whether it was stolen or not. The knowledge of what you're coming to me conversing about is universal. So I can meet you there. Although you won't be willing to meet me where I'm at. I have grown to an understanding and a level of consciousness that I don't need to debunk you. I can meet you there because I understand what you're coming to me. And I think that that's important, you know.
And life, yes, because, you know, we might think that, you know, we like discipline growing up the way we, you know, oh man, and then we see some of the things that's happening in other cultures, like, oh, that culture's not, but then you come across some and you meet somebody and you listen about what was going on in their household with the grandfather, grandmother, the discipline of being home at a certain time, and you see, and then you say they had a good upbringing, and when to you, there's that pattern because you're hearing something similar to how you was doing, and you see it's in other things, and that's what happened with Malcolm X. He had heard one form of this form of Islam. But when he took his journey over and he got over there and got to Mecca and he saw there was some Asian people that was studying Islam. It was some Mongolians. They had some Puerto Rican, you know. One of the biggest shocks for me is when I was learning about Spain. And I found out, and one of the guys, he lives in Puerto Rico. He said, "Yeah, he was living in the Bronx, but he was Spanish, but he was brought up in the Jewish tradition because his family were Jewish. You understand? So you get a broader understanding of what I'm saying is, and so that's why I'm on a new thing of saying we are practicing ancient African spirituality, and will not just form on the Kemetics thing. Yes, Kemetic is where a lot of the stuff is found because they did, but there's plenty of stuff in Nubia. We haven't even broken down some of the languages and some of the things. And I think even if we were to go further south into Punt and Tanzania and all that, the mountains of the four moons in those areas, there are things about the concept of how they got it there in Kemet. As I said, there's a book out by Atamahu. He was a 32nd degree Mason. His name is Albert Churchward. He has some ancient work. One of his profound books that you should have is The Signs and Symbols of Premortal Man.
I've got that one. Oh, wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, that is a profound book. If you can put it up for them to see, The Signs and Symbol of Premortal Man will take you into understanding some of the symbols, that how they got to it, and how as man traversed out of the continent of Akabulan, things that were happening in the stars in the heavens. You remember that when we get to present day Kemet, we are talking about the solar mythology. But before there was a solar mythology, there was a lunar mythology, which ran for thousands and thousands of years. You do not see. You have to understand how the transition went from lunar to solar, and the masculine, the femininity into the masculine, and then predate that all is the stellar mythology, the mythos. The stellar mythos, you will see it in the Purdan Rule when they're talking about certain elements of the heavens and the stars. They did not forget it. They kept incorporating it as they went along and was developing their spirituality and their systems of in the different temples. So you will see that in the Purdan Rule, you will see the stellar mythos. You will see the lunar mythos. And then finally, you will see the solar mythos.
That one I have in my. I got to get it out the attic because I don't have it with me.
Okay.
I'm not gonna get it out, but that's okay. I just the point is also, and
This is a old one. I think they might have a new
it looks
version.
that yes, it's the version I have is the one that's, but I know that one. It's the same exact one. It just is a new cover.
On the back there, it shows you about you what you think you know as the symbol of the cross.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's broken down to you and understanding how its development and went forth of the Merkut.
Yeah. Talks about
And
math right
all
there
these things,
too.
you will see why he was given, how the mythos of Christianity and Jesus the Christ or got to the point of a time frame of 33 and the resurrection of the 14 as and the number 14 the resurrection of him. So and it goes through all these things, even to the what we call the Coptics or the no, in Ireland, other people that worked on this, but so you'll get into these different things and understanding the swastika, what they call the swas, and what it really represented. Let me go there. Let me see. I'm trying to do this right, but what I'm saying, this is another good book. As an initiate, under if you ever why they had the different plates or in Christianity, the different symbols of crowns and stuff of this nature. So again, as new initiates, these are two good books to add to your library to begin your path of in the you know that in the if you read the Kemetic scriptures, what is the symbol of an axe in the Metaneter?
An axe. Is that the Netaru, the symbol of the Netaru?
Neteru, yeah, Neteru. Not Neteru, but Neter.
Neter, yes.
Now
Neter.
you'll understand the concept of the hammer and how it got to the axe. You got to understand what the tools, what was an axe, what was a hammer. Axe was a multi-purpose tool. It could bring life-giving or it could be used for destruction. The metaphor of the signs and symbols that help form what we call the Medu language as we have it now. This is what you go into that scribe access to yourself and you'll understand these little things. I got to get a new book. And how even into what they call in South America, the Aztecs and the Incas and all these things. And what basically what Albert Churchward was doing, he had another book, I'll think of the name, but you can get these online, you can get them PDFs free, is that what he was saying to his Masonic brothers, that all this stuff that you're putting out here in the lodges and 30 degrees and all that, let me show you where it really comes from. And he was doing this back in the 19th century, 18. He said, this is where it comes from. And it comes from these little people. He has them in here who we know as the new, they like to say pygmy. He showed them all these things and symbols you're trying to use has been around for thousands and thousands of years in civilizations or with a group of people before you got to what you call modernized being a traveling person or a traveling man or something of that nature. Matter of fact, I had a whole bunch of them go get this book. I made them go get, and they told the girlfriends about buy this book. And so they came back to me and they said, wow, there's a lot of Masonic information stuff in this book. I said, no, there's a lot of Africans knowledge in that book. So I hope that has been helpful. And like I said before, you can see your sent. She has some of these books. I'm sure when Zori has a lot of them, he probably didn't get it. And there's others. So what we are basically in this, as I said before, in what we was reading today, is you start gathering the tools. You start building your library to the way you want it to be. And by speaking it, when you go into books or go into a bookstore, whatever you want, the divine in you will point you to the books that you need to start reading and studying.
That's right.
Okay.
And dua for the teaching. All right, guys, we do have, see if I can share this flyer with you all. We did share this on Facebook. I'm going to try to share this before we get out of here. See if it'll let me do. One moment here. Okay, it's still there. So let's see. One thing I can never really remember how to do, it works every now and then, is share the screen. But I think it will. Let's see. Okay. So I'm going to do this. Please let me know if you can see it. Is it sharing?
Me not yet.
Let me see. Hold on. Here we go. Can you see it?
Yes.
Now I can see it.
All right. So I'm going to push play
I think.
here.
Hold on. No, I don't see it on mine. Hold on. Refresh.
Sure
More.
it is.
But my screen is so small. I don't know why it's not bringing it out full. I'm trying to bring my.
Can you see it? What Hemnetta was Siri?
Oh yeah, now I can see it.
Okay, I'm gonna push
Yes.
play,
Dwa R
guys.
Hrw?
Yes. All right, I'm gonna push play. Here we go. It has music, so hold one moment. Let's see. I had play and
Mm.
all right, so that is the save the date flyer that has come out. The dates
Mm-hmm.
are, as we mentioned before, they're sticking with the 6th and the 7th. It's going to be a 2-day event. There is more information. We are meeting weekly with the leads who are taking care of all of the planning. I'm on the outreach committee, so I'll be helping with that. And that's, our duty is pretty much to get the word out and to make sure that all of the contacts that we have individually in outreach for the different shrines and different spiritual homes and things like that to get the word out. It's going to be in 2 locations. The proposed locations would be Saturday. On Saturday, it's going to be at the Caribbean Culture Center. And then Sunday, the big ceremony would be at the Medgar Evers. Details as far as the time will come out a little later. They're waiting for some of the legalities to go through. There is a GoFundMe that's set up, but inactive as of yet. Because again, there's some of the legal issues that they're working out to make sure all of it can be launched and given out to folks. Now, the plan is that Saturday would be a smaller but free event, and Sunday is going to be a ticketed event, which would be, I believe the tickets are going to be sold via Eventbrite. This would get you access to the event itself and to a meal that's going to be held there. And again, it's a 2-day event. The times are going to be mid-afternoon is what they're shooting for, so around 12 or 1, but we'll have a definite time and definite address to update everybody with. Hopefully, they may have that stuff already, so by Wednesday when we do our next meeting, we should be able to share all of that information with all of our contacts and including our shrine. So hopefully folks can donate to the GoFundMe. Those who maybe can't attend the actual services, that would be a better way to contribute to the services if you can do it that way. Those of you who can attend and will be there, it would be great, for as many folks who can show up. And there's going to be lots of speakers and lots of ceremonial types of rituals and things like that. More so Sunday for the big event at the Medgar Evers place. So that information will be shared as soon as all of the legalities have been worked out. They've been doing working really hard at getting everything situated, trying to get everything out so it's not so last minute. But of course, Baba had a lot of ties and a lot of things, and him being also in the police force. So there's a lot of things that they were making sure that they covered in respect of his legacy and to be sure that everything was done appropriately. And I believe it's going to be an extremely nefer event. So hopefully everyone can attend. I know I'll be coming up there probably that Friday night. The hotels, there's no place to stay in New York. I don't know how y'all manage it up there. I don't know how y'all do
You didn't
it.
find nothing on 125th? Or?
Nothing. I couldn't find nothing under $250 a night for one
Oh,
night, and I'm staying
well,
for 2 nights.
let me do some research for you and hit you back on some things. Maybe I
Okay.
can come. Since I live here, maybe me and Wazari can find you something that might you
If
might
not, I'm going to stay with
and
family in
you can maybe
Jersey.
can stay up in Westchester. Sometimes you can look outside of the city.
Okay.
In terms of like Queens. They have they have upgraded some of the hotels and motels in the Bronx, but Westchester has some nice ones. Like that's if you don't have to worry about driving to the city, you can just
I'm
jump
not
on
even
the
going to drive. I'm not.
you
I never drive
can
on.
just get on Metro North and it'll bring you into the city.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll do some searching and get back to you on that.
Okay. If not, I'll be staying with family in Jersey and just, I
Yeah.
guess, either Ubering or catching the train from there.
Mm.
One or the other.
Your
But I mean,
family
I know
come
that's.
here. We might have to put up a blow up bed here too, but
Look,
hey,
I sleep on the floor. Give me some blankets and a pillow.
I
I'll
got
make it work.
I got the couch. We just move the table, anything. But we'll work that
We'll
out.
figure
Okay,
it out. Okay, okay.
we'll
We'll
figure it
do
out.
out for that. So that's that. At least that information we do have that save the date out there, so that those I know that a lot of folks who are planning to travel.
Mm.
At least assure everybody that those dates are secure. It's definitely going to be those 2 dates. So if you
Okay,
all want to go ahead and start planning, making arrangements for your stay. Some of us had even talked about Airbnb. I hadn't found nothing. So any of you guys out there listening from the DMV, we talked about carpool and we talked about if you guys find something, let me know. I have search, couldn't find anything. And
okay,
if you guys find something, you let me know as well. But I definitely will kindly take a couch, a floor, or I'll come from Jersey from a family's house, which will be fine.
okay.
Together. All right. So before we close out, we're just going to end with our balancing of the scales. Of course, I've got my scales here. Yes, I'm going to show you my same thing every week, my dusty little feather.
Hmm.
I'll refuse to let it go, and my little heart symbol that's in the other scale portion. And here this week, I think is fitting that we just talk about harmony here. Smile. So let's talk about that. And I'm going to say today, follow Ma'at and you will flourish. He or she who transgresses Ma'at's laws shall be crushed. That was from the instructions of Merakare, 2000 BC, out of the Miriam Lithicum Ancient Egyptian Literature, Volume 1, 1973. And that just states, the meaning of that harmony comes when we move in rhythm with Ma'at, not against her flow. Everything that Himneter, both Himneter Wasiri and Himneter Ames talked about today is keeping the flow and the harmony of Ma'at, doing our due diligence, doing our own research, being self-made, not only standing at the feet of our elders and listening to those who have come and well studied before us, but also getting out there, putting your boots on the ground and doing your own work. I always tell you, if you follow man, you're going to end up where? At man's house or man's couch. So follow your own heart and you will find your way home. I pray that all of our hearts remain light and that we come back next week and that you all have a prosperous week. Uncle Johnson Neb.
Good
Much
job,
more to
Sam.
all of you. With that, I'll say Shimon Ma'at. Anything
Ma'at.
else you all like to say to close us out? Anything else, or are we good to go?
We good to go. It was good. I was happy to able to join you today.
All right.
Happy to have you.
Happy to have you. Oh, one more thing. I forgot something very important. We are supposed to have our meeting this week. Himnetter Wasiri is going to reach out, if you guys are still here, to send Jason and Senatan to maybe help assist in hosting the meeting. I will message you guys. We're talking about having it on Tuesday. The only thing with me is Tuesday through Saturday is my work schedule, and Tuesday through Friday I don't get off until 7. So
yeah, and it's a holiday too. It's Veterans Day on Tuesday,
right? So that we may, I'm going to connect the three of them to discuss and see what they come up with. If it does take place on Tuesday before 7 o'clock, maybe somebody else can scribe and take notes and send them to me so I can see what was discussed. Otherwise, we may postpone that for a different day. I do not want to continue to postpone it. And I do want to shout out to, I'm not going to even mention the names, but shout out to the members who've actually been sending their dues as we discussed. So there's been quite a few members who are sending their dues. We all agreed that we would send $10 a month as a monthly dues. And I do want to shout out those who have actually done so. Just keep up with it, and we know that, that $10 is going to be all within divine order. Hopefully we can also speak with Himnetter and Tepi at some point too, to make sure he's been receiving them and that, we can move forward in divine order like we should. With that being said, Shimon Ma'at and Dua to both of you for doing what you do every week.
Dua.
Right. All right, everyone. Take care and see you later. Don't forget that today is Seba'it as well. Today, the weeks that we don't have a session we got the Sanu that's doing the Seba'it, and I'm sure that there is a post in the Shrine page with that private meeting. So if you are interested in joining the Seba'it study that the fellows have been doing every week, please be sure to look on the private page and get the link to join at 12 noon Eastern.
Okay. Dua.
Shema.
Dua. Shema.